So, people think that it's so hard to be a millionaire. Well, I don't think it is. I'm going to show you the steps that you need to take to be a millionaire. First, think about the 5 foundations. Step 1, make an emergency fund. You should do this because if you have any emergencies, like your house is burning down, or it crumbles or anything, then you have money to use to fix it. And if you are anytime like before college, like the end of college, you should have $500 in your emergency fund. And if you're like an adult, then you should have $1,000. Or you just need enough money to just live right off of that for 6 months. Number 2, get out of debt and stay out of debt. Debt is when you owe people money. So when you're in debt, you're just digging yourself a hole. And then when you're in debt, you're digging even deeper and it's harder for you to get out. And that's not good because then you have a lot of stress and stuff about trying to get out of debt. Number 3, you should pay cash for your car. And you should pay cash for your car because then you don't have to pay like fees or any like interest or anything like that. Step 4, you should also pay cash for college. Getting your diploma, costs a lot. Just cash for college and, other stuff like that. And then step 5, build wealth and grow. Now you build wealth and grow by doing these steps and budgeting and then also investing. And I'm going to tell you about that stuff later. One thing to remember is compound interest. So compound interest is where you start off with some money and then it starts making money. So in your savings account or whatever, when it's just sitting there not doing anything, you're able to make free money. And that's what interest is. So then compound interest is when that free money starts making money. So you'll only put in like this much, and then the compound interest just doubles it and doubles it, and then it keeps going and it keeps going until you have a ton of money. See, look at this difference. If you have good compound interest, then it will just rapidly increase the amount of money that you have. See, from that little bit of money all the way to there, all because of compound interest. So now, budgeting. Budgeting is very, very important to do because it kind of keeps you on track of what you're going to spend. So a cash flow statement is pretty important because it's just a chart thing that you just make it to keep track of all of your withdrawals and deposits that you make. And this will come on important later when we get to the fraud section. Next word is zero-based budget. So with a zero-based budget, you need to have like your limit of money. So this here represents when you have $0. So you need to budget your money up to being $0. So then it's not just any extra stuff that you have just not being put into good stuff. And with the budgeting system, it's very important that you could also use an envelope system. And this is pretty much like budgeting, but it's in cash. So you just take your cash and you put it in an envelope for each different thing. So like if you have a restaurant envelope, or maybe like a fun movies like activity kind of thing like that, or even like more important things like car repairing and maintenance. Now we come over here to debt. Now debt it's not very good at all. You should not have debt at all, and you shouldn't go into debt at all. First, and probably one of the best ways to do that, is just don't do credit cards. See, credit cards, they're not as good as cash, because when you're done like spending credit cards for the month, then you have to pay a fee, and for the fee you have to pay extra because of interest rate and yeah, that kind of stuff. So credit cards aren't good. I guess the only exception is that they could be good if you pay it off in the month, but you know, that's not as easy to do as just taking cash and paying. Now, overdraft happens when you use a credit card and you don't have enough money. Because credit cards is like you're kind of borrowing, you're kind of using the bank's money, but then later you pay it off with your own. So overdraft is when you're spending with your credit card and then you spend too much, and then like it just gives you extra money, but you don't know that you have extra money. So that's why you should use cash or a debit card. So then, like, when you run out of money, you don't have money to take out anymore. Because, you know, debit is like cash, so you only have to spend what you have. Not credit cards where you're borrowing it and then you have to pay it off. So overdraft is very bad. Credit score and credit report. So a credit score is the credit risk measured by a credit report. And it's kind of telling you just how like good you are at paying off your credit debt, you know, that stuff. But you shouldn't have one if you're not using a credit card. A credit report is the history of your credit, so you shouldn't also have one of these if you never use a credit card. So now we come over here. So it's debt marketing. So debt is marketed to us in a lot of ways, and we don't really understand, like, a lot of people just don't see it. But like credit score commercials, they're making it seem like you need all your, like, you need credit score and all that good stuff to like be able to buy stuff at all, but that's not true. That is a myth. So the truth is, you don't need a credit report to buy things. You can just, you know, do everything that you can with a credit card that you can do with cash. So debt, people need to stop trying to market it. It's bad. Okay, loans. So loans are when you borrow money from like a bank or anybody else, and then you have to pay it back at the end of the loan term, and you usually, well, actually always have to pay off a bit extra because, like, it's kind of like their insurance for letting you use their money. So it's like they need to make sure that you get it back to them, so you're going to have to pay a little bit extra because they're letting you use their money. And a really important thing is don't co-sign a loan or like loan anything to your family members or friends, because it just like makes tensions worse, and like it just makes it harder for them like socially, because they're always thinking like about the money and that kind of stuff. But co-signing a loan is when you do a loan and then you also sign somebody else's name for them to pay the loan with you. And this is bad because like if they don't pay off the loan, their portion of it, then you have to pay the loan. So it's kind of, you have to depend on them, and you know, you can't always depend on people to do those things. See? So loans are very bad. Also, don't do lottery or gambling, because, you know, if you want to be rich, you got to do rich people stuff, and I don't really see rich people stuff doing lottery or gambling all the time. See? So don't go off and, gamble with dice and stuff, because rich people don't do it, and it's a pretty low chance that you are gonna win. Like, there's one thing with lotteries, there's like tons of people that do it, and it's also like lottery is like an extra tax kind of to pay off stuff for the government. Also, 15-year mortgage versus a 30-year mortgage. Now, 15-year mortgages on your house are better because even though you pay just more every month, it's not a drastic more amount, and it's also good because you're guaranteed to get it paid off in 15 years. So I would rather give up paying just a little bit more per month for paying less time, because a 30-year mortgage, 30 years is a lot of years, and that's 30 years of paying off your house, and you don't want to pay stuff off for that long. So a debt snowball. This is probably the most effective way of paying off debt. See, so there are 5 steps. So 1, you stop borrowing money, because when you keep borrowing money, you're just digging your debt hole deeper. 2, you need to start saving. So maybe take some money out of some other budgets, like vacationing or just unnecessary stuff. Maybe just go without Netflix for a month, so then you can start paying off your debt. 3, start selling stuff, sell your golf clubs. Mr. Beaverly says that all the time. But yeah, sell your golf clubs. Just anything that you can do to squeeze out some extra money to pay off the debt. Number 4, you can start just like a small job, just temporary. You're not going to do it that much. Just like if you have your regular job, maybe see if you could just mow or shovel some driveways, just simple stuff like that that'll get you some extra money. And 5, finally start doing the debt snowball. So this is the example that I had for my family example thing that I did. So my debts were I had credit card debt, I had a bank loan that I had to pay off, and student loan that I had to pay off. So you list your debts from least to greatest. See, so I had the 500, 3,500, and 8,000, and then this is the minimum. So this is how much. This is the minimum amount that you have to pay off per month to get the debts done just slowly over time. But then to do the debt snowball, so in my budget, our assignment budget, I squeezed out $305.96. See, so what you do is you take that money and you add it to this. See, so you use this extra money each month, because this is your sinking fund or whatever. See, so you get all of this from your other budgets, and you start putting this money monthly into first paying off your credit card debt. So then once you get your credit card debt done, then you don't have to pay $15 a month. So then you can add that to this number, and then you have $320.96 that you can start putting towards this. And when you get this done, then you have even more money. See, so it's like a snowball just rolling up to be big, and then you can start paying off your biggest one, and then when you have that done, then you have all this money that you're done budgeting with to get rid of debt, and then you also don't have debt, so you could do so much better extra stuff when you're debt free. Now, doesn't that just sound great? Now we're going to talk about some things that you can do with the money that you do after debt. Oh yeah, fraud. So fraud is like, the people stealing your account, that kind of stuff. That's why you should look at your credit report. Like, I think Mr. Beverly said it was like twice every 6 months, something like that, to see if anybody's using like a credit card or something under your name. And also, if your like wallet gets stolen, you should cancel your cards and get replacements. So like, any of the cards and stuff that you have in there, you need to replace them and cancel the other ones so that like the fraud culprit person can't use those cards. Yeah, so now, using the money that you just got from your budgeting. So investing, keep it simple, stupid. Okay? You need to keep it simple. You need to make sure that you understand every single thing that your broker or whoever, you need to understand every single thing that is going on with your money. You need to be able to understand it and then explain it to, a third grader. Or it needs to be that simple that you can explain it. So, first, do not invest borrowed money. For one thing, just don't borrow money, because it's not good. But you just don't want to borrow money. And then investing borrowed money is you're gonna make the investment money, but then you're still gonna have to pay money back. So it's like you're not making as much as you are wanting to. And another one is you should diversify. See, so diversifying is you put your money into one spot. Instead of doing that, then you diversify it to go to many different things. And you want to have things that are a lot of different types of stores. So Walmart, that's kind of everything. But then you have a sports store. You can do outside wildlife kind of stuff. You can do cars and food. You just want to diversify it. Just get a little bit of each different kind of thing. So if the sports market goes down, then you still have the outdoor stuff and then the car stuff, all that stuff that's still going when that stuff if sports went down. Now, risk return. So we're going to talk about these things soon have something to do with risk return. So risk return, so the risk is how likely you are to lose your money, and the return is how likely you are to gain money. So if you have a good risk return ratio, then you're going to be gaining, you're going to be it's going to be enough risk that you still get a good return out of it, but it's not if you lose your money or something, then you lose it all. So, single stocks. Now, single stocks, they're pretty risky, but if you do good, then you have a high return. But you should not invest in single stocks because it's kind of just throwing your money away. I mean, only if it does bad. I don't know, not really throwing your money away, but yeah, single stocks, if that stock goes down, your money kind of just drains out, So that's why you should invest in mutual funds. So mutual funds, you put your money into a pool with a bunch of other people's money, and then a stockbroker that you need to make sure that you understand just diversifies that money by himself, or maybe not by himself, but he's trained in business and stuff to know all about stocks and all that good stuff. And so he diversifies it for you into a bunch of little different things. So that's a kind of like neutral risk return ratio, because it's not too risky and it's not too return. Like, you don't get tons of money back, but it's not super risky. Yeah. So bonds. So bonds are like, it's kind of like a loan but backwards. So instead of you getting a loan from somebody, you're giving a loan to them. So it's like a company. So you're lending a company some money, and then that company has to pay you back. And the bad thing about these is, like, it depends. Well, one thing, it depends on the amount of money that you get back from the interest rate, because, like, the only profit that you'll be making off is the interest rate, because they're just giving you back the same amount of money that you gave them, but just a little bit more. So yeah, it fluctuates with the interest rate. And that's kind of like, I don't know, I feel like it's a low risk but kind of low return. Yeah, like low risk, low return, that kind of thing. So a Roth IRA. So these are like, so it's like you get taxed. So it's like you get taxed, but then your money just kind of like stays on the down low or whatever. Like, yeah, so they tax you kind of like right as you get it, and then later on in retirement, then it just comes over here in retirement, and then you don't get taxed for that money. See, because the people don't see it get like there. Yeah, so you don't have to get taxed by it in retirement. So real estate. Real estate is one thing that you can invest in that's like, it's kind of complicated. But so it's real estate. So you could have a really bad house that's, not very good looking, and you can invest your money into making this house better. A big fancy house. You can invest in making it better to get more money off, but yeah, it kind of depends on like the house market, and also you don't want to put too much into fixing a house, because then like you won't get as much out of a good house if you spend tons of money making this house better. So this is kind of a high risk-ish, high return. But the bad thing about these is the liquidity. So liquidity is how easily you can get your money out. And houses, they have a horrible liquidity. So the only way that you can get your money back from houses is by selling them. And you can only sell them if a person buys them, So you have to depend on somebody coming along and wanting this house, so then you finally get your money back. So like, if you need to start doing a debt snowball, you can't just sell this real fast and have a lot of money to do the debt snowball. You have to hope that somebody buys it. Now, these are some investments that you should probably not do because they're kind of dumb. So commodities. So this is like farming and agriculture. So you kind of just invest in hoping that the weather does good, hoping that it doesn't rain too much and make all the crops horrible. And gold, you shouldn't invest in gold because like the amount, like its price does not go up very much. So like it's stayed a really low price for a long time. So it's not like you're going to be making extra money soon. And day trading, that's horrible. So this is supposed to be a computer. It's kind of good. But yeah, so this is day trading. So it's like you're just selling stocks and like buying them and all that stuff really quickly. So it's really high risk, really high return, possibly. That, yeah, because it's just really risky because you're just buying them quickly and selling them. If they go down, you lose a lot of money. And I think it was like 88%, something like that. 88% of day traders lose, like, just go bankrupt because of how risky day trading is. And then viatical. Now, viaticals are just weird. So it's like you're giving a person money, so then they give you their life insurance. So then when they die, you just get their money and stuff. It's just a bit weird. I don't really like it. I think it's dumb. So we'll come back over here, and we'll talk about benefits now. So sometimes benefits could be worth more than money, you know? So like, would you rather have a 400,000 yearly job, or a 500,000 yearly job? And the thing with the 400,000 job is that you have a 401k. So, you know, you get benefits. So yeah, sometimes the benefits are worth more than money. So, a 401k. So this is retirement. So, my mom has a 401k, and I think it sounds pretty good. But it's like, so you get your paycheck, but then before you get to like spend any money or anything, you have to put it towards retirement. So it's like you can't do anything with this money until retirement. But it's kind of good because I don't know. Yeah, it just gets put there, and yeah, it's just all saved for retirement. Then a 403b is for nonprofits like churches, or just like rec centers, kind of things like that, you know, nonprofit places. And then a 457 is for government employees, so probably like policemen, or, you know, fire people. So just, you know, things like that when you work for the government. So remember, if you want to be a millionaire, you know, be super wealthy and stuff, you got to think about all of these things. You know, you got to think about you got to think about having an emergency fund, get out of debt and stay out, pay cash, and then build wealth. So that comes with budgeting. Don't go into debt, you know, all that stuff, and investing, and and saving. You know, you gotta make sure you save money. But yeah, so that all comes with you wanting to be a millionaire. So yeah, that's how you do it. Sounds easy, doesn't it?